Paramahamsa Paribrajacharya Stotra Sachi Simad His Divine Grace Shilavai Charanarabinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Nitchalila Pavishta Om Vishtupad Paramahamsa Paribrajacharya Stotra Sachi Simad His Divine Grace Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati Thakur Goswami Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Jai Sri Rup Sri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Namacharya Sila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Shikaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sisi Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Si Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Sinavadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Si Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Books Distribution Ki Jai ISKCON Juhu Mumbai Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Gopal Krishna Vishwami Tamine Prabhupada Chaitanya Prakasha Dityaja Pacharanga Vansargat Pate Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Passacha Deshatarine Om Ajnanantimirandasya Gyanangyana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Sijuta Padakamalang Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namustate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Visavano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We continue reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Summon Bonum, Chapter 16, Krishna chastises the serpent Kaliya, Text 27. Tam nartung ujjatang abhikshatada tadiya Gandharva Siddha Muni Charana Devad Badbha Prityamidanga Pradabanaka Vajja Gita Pushpo Paharanutubhi Sahaspashedhu. Senior devotees first. Tamnartam ujjatam aviksha tadatadiya Gandharva Siddha Muni Charana Deva Badha Prityamidanga Panabanaka Vadiga Puspo Pahara Natabi Sahoso Pasedhu Tamnatung Ujjatang Abhikshatadhatadiya Gandharva Siddha Muni Charana Deva Badbha Prityamidanga Pranabanaka Vajja Gita Pushpo Bahara Natabi Sahasa Pasedhu. Dharva Siddha Muni Charana Deva Badbha Tamidanga Panavanaka Vajja Gita Puspo Paharan Tubisahasa Pasedhu. Matajis, Tamnartam ujjatang abhikshatadhatadiya Gandharva Siddha Muni Charana Deva Badhua Prityamidanga Prabhanaka Vidita Word for word meaning, tam, him, nartum, in dancing, udyatam, engaged, aviksha, taking note of, tada, then, tadiya, his servants, Gandharva Siddha, the Gandharvas and Siddhas, Muni Charana, the sages and the Charanas, Devavadhva, the wives of the demigods, Pritya, with great pleasure, Midanga Pranava Anaka, of various kinds of drums, Vadya, with musical accompaniment, Gita, song, Pushpa, flowers, Upahara, other presentations, Nutibihi, and prayers, Sahasha, immediately, Upashedo, arrive. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Seeing the Lord dancing, His servants in the heavenly planets, the Gandharvas, Siddhas, sages, Charanas, and wives of the demigods immediately arrived there. With great pleasure, they began accompanying the Lord's dancing by playing drums such as mridangas, panavas, and anakas. They also made offerings of songs, flowers, and prayers. Purport. When the demigods and other residents of higher planetary systems became aware that Lord Sri Krishna was personally putting on a wonderful demonstration of the art of dancing, they immediately came to offer their services. Dancing becomes more enjoyable and beautiful to watch when it is accompanied by expert drum playing, singing, and the chanting of prayers. The artistic atmosphere was also enhanced by the showering of a multitude of flowers upon Lord Sri Krishna, who was blissfully engaged in dancing upon the hoods of the Kaliya serpent. Hare Krishna. Tam nartung ujyatang abhikshata diya Gandharva Siddha Municharana Deva Vadbha Pritya Midanga Panabanaka Vajjagita Pushpo Pahara Nutubhi Sahaso Pashetu Sahasa Upasedhu. They immediately arrived. Who are they who just immediately arrived? These different inhabitants besides the Brajavasis. They all come from different parts of the universe. The Acharya is saying also that in some parts of Vaikuntha, they came. Somehow, Krishna was dancing on the hoods of Kaliya, the serpent. Mentions here that Kaliya has over 1,000 hoods. One snake, but having 1,000 hoods. But mainly he has 101 hoods, where Kaliya has. And Lord Krishna danced on the top of this hoods, 101 chief heads or hoods of Kaliya. Now one may be wondering what kind of pious activities that this Kaliya performed in order for the Lord to dance on his heads. The yogis, they meditate for thousands and thousands and thousands of years to get hold of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Kaliya, being a snake, what does a snake means? Full of envy, very malicious, very cunning. It will bite you any moment, as soon as you move. So what is this? A serpent? The Lord? Lotus feet of the Lord on top of his hoods? How is that? See, the Nagapatnis, the wives of Kaliya, they are devotees of the Supreme Lord. They knew that Lord Krishna is a Supreme Personality of Godhead. And they are trying to convince to Kaliya, their husband, to please worship the Supreme Lord, Lord Krishna. No, he's very proud. He doesn't want to do it. Somehow or other, the story goes way back during the Swayambhu Manu or some Manus, that this Kaliya, he was a sage, he was a Muni. Muni means thinker, Muni means a yogi, Muni means an ascetic, Muni means a tapasvi. So he performs tapasya in his hermitage. His name is Vedasira. Vedasira. And somehow there was another Muni who came, Angasira, and he wanted to take also tapasya. He wanted to perform tapasya in the ashram of Vedasira. And Vedasira said, no, you cannot do your tapasya here. You better go somewhere else. This is my turf. This is my territory. No way. Jai Sisirada Rasa Bihari Lalita Visakadevi Ki Jai. Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Jai. Sisi Gornitai Guru Parampara Ki Jai. So, she says, no, why are you asking me to live? Don't you know that this place doesn't belong to you? This place belongs to Lord Vishnu. And many ascetics, many yogis perform their tapasya here. So how come you're asking me to go? If you ask me to go, then I will curse you. I will curse you. That you cannot. You'll be like a serpent. You cannot stay where Garuda is. You know Garuda's favorite food? Snake. Somehow, he's a carrier of Lord Vishnu, but he's not a vegetarian. He's a snaketarian. So, it says, no, for just mere rebuttal, for you to go somewhere else, because I don't want to be disturbed. I want to remain here, and I want to be alone. You are cursing me, I'll curse you also. I'll curse you to be a crow. So both were counter-cursing. And this reached to the news heard by Lord Vishnu. He came, and because both of them are devotees also of Lord Vishnu somehow, so Lord Vishnu cannot reverse the curse between the two. And therefore he says, okay, whatever curses is done, that will be accomplished, that will be fulfilled. But Vedasira, you'll be a snake, and I will dance on your hood. And the other crow became very learned. He was a devotee of Lord Ramachandra, and he will recite the Vedas. He's very, very knowledgeable in the Vedas. So both, you see, the Supreme Lord somehow, both the punishment and the mercy coming from the Supreme Lord is equal. If he kills the demon, they get liberated. If he gives mercy to the devotees, they go back home, back to Godhead. So this Kaliya, the lesson that we've learned from here, many things happened here that was fulfilled again. He tried to punish, because the fulfillment of the curse and the fulfillment of the Lord's mercy towards his devotee became fulfilled both at the same time. The Nagapatnis, as we will be hearing later on, they will be praying. They understood, because now, during the dance of Lord Krishna and the hoods of Kaliya, is almost dead. Almost dead. But some acharyas say that this putting the coil or the, what you may say, the remainder, first the head and then the coil, putting around Lord Krishna is just like an embrace. It's like, who is that? The shooting of arrows of Bhishmadev to Lord Krishna is like a symbol of offering flowers. And the wound that's been inflicted towards Lord Krishna is like the markings of between two lovers. You know, kiss mark. You've seen them sometime? Huh? You know, like sometimes some reddish here, reddish here. So when Kaliya tried to bite on the chest of Krishna, it's just like kissing the chest. Krishna doesn't take negative things for him. He always takes the good side. So at that time, Yamuna was like 2 miles in breadth, the width. Right now, Yamuna is, sometimes during summertime, I've seen Brajabasis, they walked, crossing from one end near the Kesigat going to Mat. In those days, very, very deep. And in Yamuna, there's a certain lake called Kaliya Lake or Kaliya Daha. And we pass by Kaliya Daha practically every day whenever we go to Yamuna to have darshan of Yamuna in Yugalagat. The tree is still there where Krishna used jumping towards the lake. And the lake or Yamuna used to touch that part. But now Yamuna is very, 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 very far. And as Kali Yuga progresses, Yamuna will disappear. There are 3 items that gives love of God very quickly. Yamuna, Govardhan Hill, and Brajaraj. And as Kali Yuga progresses, Yamuna will disappear in the same way at Govardhan Hill. Govardhan Hill being cursed by Pulastya Muni to sink one size of the mustard seed every day. And in those days, Govardhan Hill is about 25 kilometers in height. You can go like this. It's not even enough. But now, maybe 80 feet, the tallest height. So Yamuna in that area, which means where Kaliya was, is very poisonous. The fumes, anyone who passed by there, even the birds, they will fall and die. So Krishna was thinking, hey, this is not good. He has to go. Because this is a place also, we don't want the Brajabasis to get sick or die because of the poison coming from this snake or serpent. So previously, Kaliya used to live in Ramanakeli. Ramanakeli is, Prabhupada says, because when Prabhupada went to Fiji, he was on the plane and he met some Fijians, and those Fijians eventually became devotee, and the male became GBC, Vasudev, for Fiji. They said there is no snakes in Fiji. So Prabhupada says, oh, this must be the place of Kaliya before. But then he was kind of like evicted from there because Garuda used to have one snake per month to eat. And when it comes to the time of, because every homes or every ashram of the snakes, they will give one snake to Garuda. But then when it comes to Kaliya's time to give the snake, Kaliya ate the portion which is meant for Garuda. You've seen the snake eating its own snake? The other snake? Must be big, like anaconda. Like, you know, in South America, these are very big snakes. They can even swallow buffaloes, big ones. So now Garuda became angry. He started to kick Kaliya, and Kaliya started to shoot out some of his poisons. There was a big fight, and they were just chasing each other all over the universe. Garuda became angry, but then there is this part, the Kaliya Daha, where Saubhari Muni performed his tapasya. And he says that here, Garuda cannot come. So this Kaliya Daha is the place, became the headquarters of Kaliya, that place. And Lord Krishna, again, he performed his pastimes in such a way to perform it in such a way that many things will be accomplished at the same time. Now he wants to get the Brajabasis' emotions, the love towards him to increase, to be intensified much more. And therefore, this lila also happened. He was in the coil of the snake, Kaliya, for 2 hours. Inanimate. Inanimate means not moving. Not moving at all. It's like if one will see a person with the coil or the tail around this person and not moving, you will presume that that person is dead. So when the Brajabasis came, first the earthly gopis, and then the cowherd boys, and then the young gopis, and the cowherd men, they all came one by one. They all fainted. But then it is already touched. Before they came, the lotus feet of Lord Krishna already touched the water of that lake. And therefore, no more poison will be in effect. Everything now becomes purified. And then when they came, of course, if you pass by there, more likely you will die because of the fumes, the poison. And when Lord Krishna is splashed, he jumped on the lake, he made a big splash. Now Kaliya was thinking, what is this? Who is that person dared to come into my lake? He didn't know that it was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna was ready for a big fight. But in the beginning, he was giving a chance for Kaliya to think that, I defeated whoever came here. But then, as it says, the news spread, and then all the Brajabasis. Kaliya not just wanted to kill the person who jumped there, but ultimately he wanted to kill all the Brajabasis. All the Brajabasis. Anyone, everyone who come there in that area. So, Lord Krishna, somehow or other, when he sees, because they all fainted and they all came back to life also, he wanted to make a show. He wanted to make a show that I can dance on the hooves of this snake and not getting affected. Meanwhile, the Nagapatnis, the wives, and also the children of Kaliya, they were all there also, worried what's going to happen to the father, to the husband. Lord Krishna started to dance. And in the beginning, there is no musical accompaniment. Tata, tata. He would just say like this. It's like, you've heard sometime you have some cultural presentation here in your auditorium. The dancer, or you will hear some tata, tata, some kind of sound which will give more static movement for the dancer. So he would do this, but then again, no one was watching. There are no demigods, no apsaras, no charanas, no gandharvalokas around. Somehow or other, the news again is spread, and they all came, and then when they saw Krishna dancing, who is Nataraj, right? The king of dancer. It's like Lord Chaitanya also is called Gaur Nataraj, or Lord Shiva. Nataraj also, at the time of dissolution, Lord Shiva will be dancing the dance of dissolution. But Lord Krishna's dance is the best. Just a young boy. The Acharyas was saying that there's two kinds of dance that Lord Krishna is dancing. So that was the origin of Bharatnatyam. Bharatnatyam dance, the national dance of India. So, yes, he was dancing, and then when the demigods came, they also brought their musical instruments, their mridangas or different kinds of instruments. In the spiritual world, there is also mridanga. Mridanga means sweet. Balaram, another expansion of Lord Balaram's energy, the mridanga, or these instruments in the spiritual world. And the others, and this is not in sequence. It's not that, they will sing and then they will offer flowers. It's simultaneously, because it's very spontaneous. Everything is going on at the same time. And the way Sukadev Goswami is describing this pastime is, he was in bliss. He was in ecstasy. So it's not in sequence who will throw the flowers first, the wives of the demigods, or they will sing along. The Chanaras, the Gandharva Lokas, they will sing, or the Chanaras will play their musical instruments. No, they're all accompanying Lord Krishna to dance in such a way. So Lord Krishna, he knew that when the Brajabasis, they almost will be losing their life, because out of intense. They're seeing that Lord Krishna is being on the tail or the coil of the tail of this Kaliya and not moving, so they thought that it's all practically dead. So again, the Brajabasis depend on Lord Krishna. Without Lord Krishna, they consider themselves as, what is the use to live? There's no use for us to be in existence if Krishna dies. Just like when Lord Krishna went to Mathura, everyone is practically, it says in the Krishna book, Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, that they are like lifeless. Only when Uddhava came, who is in resemblance very close, almost looking exactly the same color, same feature. Uddhava, who is the most confidential assistant of Lord Krishna in Dwarka. So when he came to give a message to the Brajabasi, especially to his parents, Lord Krishna's parents, Nanda Maharaj and Yasoda Mai and Radharani, they thought that Krishna came back, returned. And when they saw Uddhava, their life, almost lifeless, came back to life. They forgot to comb their hair, their clothes are all disheveled, they forgot to decorate themselves. But when they saw Uddhava, they all came back, almost back to life. So, similarly, the Brajabasis, at this moment, they're almost like lifeless as well. They were thinking, what is the use? And when Krishna saw that almost they're also going to die in separation, he started to move. After 2 hours. It's a long time of not moving, isn't it? Can you do like that? No. Maybe when you're sleeping, still you'll be moving. So, again, Lord Krishna used this pastime in order to intensify the love between the Brajabasis and Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna, in order to teach a lesson to Kaliya, because Kaliya's hoods are like going like this. So his shoulder, if his hood is like that, so his shoulder must be up as well. So he was dancing, and he says that his lotus feet became red. Became red because of the poison also, but not really getting affected. But Krishna was dancing so nicely and profusely, and in order to teach Kaliya to be humble, he pushed the hoods and the shoulders of Kaliya going down with his hands as well. Nagapatnis, they were watching. But somehow or other, they can see from the face of Kaliya that he is now hopeless and he is repenting in a sense. There is some kind of repentance of what he did. Now he understood that this boy is just not an ordinary village boy. And therefore, as we will see later on, Nagapatnis would pray, not for themselves, but they will pray for the fate of Kaliya. They would say, if you want to kill Kaliya, yes, he deserved to be killed. He deserved to be killed because he's poisoning, is killing all the entities around here. So what is, no purpose for that. That's too much. But you please spare his life as well. Because we surrender unto you. And Kaliya is also one of your entities, one of your offsprings. Krishna is the father of everyone. Aham bija pradapita. He's a seed-giving father of everyone, and therefore he's your also offspring. And you may please pardon him. If you like, you can kill him, but at the same time, you please pardon him. So for the Nagapatnis, it's like prayer with no malice, not for themselves. Have you ever prayed for others? Or always for yourself? The highest is you pray for others. Of course, we have to pray for ourselves also. Huh? Yeah, well, many devotees, Maharaj, please pray for me. I cannot chant Hare Krishna for you. Or I can pray for you, but then, yeah, they would say, Maharaj, please give me your blessings. Blessings is there provided you follow. Prabhupada would say, mostly they will just ask, pray for me so that I'll become successful businessman, or I will have my daughter be married in a very suitable husband. The blessings is always like that, or pray for me for that. But very rare that one will ask for a spiritual benefit. That is a very high, very mature level of Krishna consciousness when you pray for others, even if they don't ask for it. It's like I have one devotee in Delhi, and he's suffering so much. I told him, you need association of devotees. Don't be alone. He says, Maharaj, why do you care too much for me? What do I have that you care too much? I says, well, I don't want you to suffer. You're suffering too much. I know you for many, many years, and you remain the same person. You don't make advancement. I tried my best, but then okay, so you go your way, I'll go my way. But says, no, Maharaj, no. Are you upset with me? I'm not upset with you. I just don't want to see you suffering too much. So here the Nagapatnis, they saw Kaliya suffered a lot. But still, he deserved it because he's producing this poisonous effect. But at the same time, they put their children in the front. Who will take care of them if you kill him? So you please spare his life as well. So they prayed, and later on, Kaliya also offered his prayers. He became a surrendered devotee. And Krishna would say, from now on, leave this place immediately. Go to the ocean. Go somewhere. Because your being here is very, very dangerous for the Brajabasis, the inhabitants of Vrindavan. It's a very nice pastime of the Supreme Lord. It's one of his naimitika lila, one of his occasional lila, because in the Goloka Vrindavan there is no Kaliya, there are no demons there. Demons there is only in the mind. So it makes things in suspense, that when Lord Krishna will go to pasture the cows, the elderly gopis, Mother Yasoda, they will think, oh, there must be a lot of wild animals in the forest. So he should be very, very careful. But then that is only an excuse to pasture the cows, but their main purpose is to play along with the cowherd boys, and also to meet Radha and Krishna during the different times of the day, morning, afternoon, and evening. So yes, we are also in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam in Vrindavan, 13th chapter, the last chapter where Srila Prabhupada have commented, and it looks like we're going to be following in your footsteps. We're going to be going further. Even though, of course, Prabhupada, he wrote the Krishna book, he thought that this is his main work, his magnum opus. His main work is Srimad Bhagavatam. And he thought he will not be able to finish the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. So at least let me give the 10th canto summary, the Krishna book. But then there are other parts of the 10th canto which is specially meant for the liberated souls, the Paramahamsa. So when we reach that part, let's see what's going to happen. From chapter 29 till 5 chapters of the Rasa Lila. Because Prabhupada warned us that it should not be discussed in public. Especially now, the whole world is listening to ISKCON Juhu, Mumbai. This is live, right? Or Vrindavan also is live. So let's see, when we come to that part, I don't know what's going to happen. Because even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not discuss this very, very intimate pastimes of the Supreme Lord. He only discussed this to 3.5 personalities. Who are they? Ramananda Roy, Sarup Damodar, Sikhi Mahati, and who? Madhavi Devi. Yes, 3.5. I don't know why 3.5. Why not 4? They're all full personalities. So it's going to be a little challenge for us when we reach to that part of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Many temples, they go back to the first canto. The Prabhupada says, put everything you need to know in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, or the first 3 chapters of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. Okay, we stop here. Any points? Any questions? Yes. Is there any mic?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for this nice class. One small inquiry that Govardhan Hill, Yamuna and Brajraj,
Yes.
these all 3 give Krishna Prem very fast.
Yeah,
But-
what? Brajaraj will remain there till the end of Kali Yuga. Because now Vrindavan is starting to become a desert. Yamuna will disappear and Govardhan Hill will disappear. The only thing that will remain is Brajaraj. And if you are fortunate enough even to touch one of those speck of Brajaraj that touch the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, immediately you'll be in Krishna Prem. Or the original Brajabasis, not the nowadays Brajabasis. They're Brajabasis, but they're not the same. 5,000 years ago, even 500 years ago, or even 200 years ago, or 300 years ago. Nowadays, Brajabasis, Hare Krishna. Yes?
Like they give Krishna Prem and one touch can give so much thing, but still after going so many times I don't experience that.
Because you don't have faith. Uddhava, his prayer is that to be a creeper. Just to be a creeper next life, so that at least when the Brajabasis will walk, then the dust has been created by their lotus feet will smeared upon my head. I will consider myself as very fortunate. Lord Brahma also, his prayer is to be also a blade of grass within or immediately, even outside of the boundary of Vrindavan. The same purpose, to have the demigods, they're all waiting to touch this Brajaraj. This one speck of this Brajaraj is priceless. Cannot be compared to all the opulences, all the wealth in the universe. Yamuna is also Ganga, part of Ganga, but because Lord Krishna performed his pastimes there, sports with the cowherd boys and the cowherd maidens, then become very, very purifying, 100 times more than Ganga. So, yes, faith has to be increased. Your hearing and chanting has to be increased. Your seva for the Vaishnavas has to be increased. And eliminate Vaishnava Parad.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Any other points? Yes, sir.
Hare Krishna. So just comment to that
yes.
question. Srila Prabhupada writes in Bhakti Rasam Sindhu that there are many glorifications of bhakti process. Then he adds a point that all these effects do not apply to everybody. There are so many things that, if you visit the temple, you will become liberated.
Yeah.
All this glorification is there. But
right.
then Prabhupada adds that it doesn't happen to everybody.
It doesn't happen to everyone. Why?
Then Prabhupada, in first canto Bhagavatam, second chapter, he writes that Bhakti Yoga is independent, Krishna is independent, pure devotees are independent.
Right.
So they are not bound.
They will only be bound. Lord Krishna will be bound by your love. Like what happened to Mother Yasoda. She's able to bind Lord Krishna because of her love. So, priti purvakam. Your love has to increase. How? By increasing your faith. Because that is the beginning of prema bhakti. You may serve, but if you're not surrendered and you're not humble, then your service is not accepted. Okay, service means with humility and surrender, with faith that this will actually happen. Asabandha, hope against hope. We do our part. We do our best and Krishna will do the rest. Ours is only hope that someday Krishna will bestow this mercy upon us through his devotees. Because Krishna deals with his devotees. And Yamuna, she's a devotee. He says that even by the touch of the breeze of Yamuna, eradicates your sinful reactions for thousands and thousands and thousands of lifetimes. Just by the breeze touching your body. Now, if you don't have faith, it will work still. Just like fire, if you touch, whether you know it or not, it will burn you. But you need faith. And this is why we're doing. Sadhana is not, you will not attain prema bhakti by coming for Mangalarti or whatever, doing sadhana, but you have to increase that faith. But it is part of it. You have to do it also. Because Krishna will see your sincerity. When Krishna sees your sincerity, just like here, when Krishna also saw the sincerity of Kaliya, Kaliya became morose. He actually felt sorry for what he was doing. And therefore, Krishna fulfilled the petitions of the Nagapatnis to spare the life of Kaliya. So yes, everything is fully independent, but we're the only one who is dependent on Lord Krishna. Krishna just wants to see your sincerity. What is sincerity? Sincerity means one-pointed attention. Nothing else, only the Supreme Lord, to please Him. Anything else? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for the very wonderful class. Especially you told the history of Kaliya, how he was Vedasira and then got the curse. That was very nice. My question was, like here in the previous shloka also it is mentioned in this that how Krishna's feet became red upon dancing the hoods of Kaliya, especially because of the jewels. Which was
the
there
jewels, the ornaments.
So my question was just a curiosity to understand that, like after this incident only, after this particular Leela only, Krishna's lotus feet became red, and does it remain?
No, his feet is always red. Maybe now it became more reddish.
Okay.
There are few parts of the Lord's body are red. His eyes, his lips, the palms, the sole of his feet. Yeah. Few parts of his body is compared to lotus. Lotus eyes, lotus face, lotus hands, lotus feet. Yeah. So if someone says, I am Bhagavan, okay, show me your reddish feet. Where are the symbols of the gold and the temple and the tulsi and all these things? Because in India there's a factory of Bhagavan. Every day there is a born Bhagavan. Bhagavan this, Bhagavan that. But no. This is how we can ascertain who is God. The symbols or these different features. Or even for those who are also great personalities, there are some signs. It's like Prabhupada's voice is like a thunder. When he speaks, it's penetrating. Like that. Okay? So we stop here. Srila Prabhupada K. Krishna Kaliya K. Vidaya Gaur Premanande. There's only one temple, Krishna Kaliya in Fiji. Nagapatnis also. Hare Krishna.